ultimate or unflinching trust in something sublime. So that's not sentimental. That's knowing by trusting. And trusting means accepting. This is very hard for most people in this world because they've been fooled by one thing or another too many times. And so now they're thinking, oh, there's not really somebody there I can trust. So when I was first reading Srila Prabhupada's books, this is one thing I kept running into. You have to accept this authority, you have to accept this authority, you have to accept a person coming from the right parampara, disciplic succession. And what helped me was actually to read many, many books about Srila Prabhupada. Because, to tell you the truth, when I first saw pictures of Srila Prabhupada, I actually thought that I was afraid of this person. It's probably because I was in a demoniac frame of mind. I didn't want my material life to end. But another thing is he has a very grave look sometimes in his face, right? He looks pretty serious. And whereas some other yogis and some other people who are discussing this transcendental knowledge, they have these big smiley faces and sweet flowing hair, and they look, different that way. It's interesting because when some of the devotees asked you, the Prabhupada, what were you thinking in that picture? You looked really sad, and Prabhupada said, I was actually seeing Krishna, I was ecstatic. So it's like, we can't judge what's going on the inside by what's going on the outside. That's one thing. But when I started reading more and more about Srila Prabhupada himself, and about his amazing life and all the sacrifice he made, and how he was actually just always focused on giving this knowledge and giving this feeling and giving this awareness to people, that was his sole purpose. I became convinced inside about him, the person, not just a spiritual person, not just a nice spiritual practice. I try to remind people, like when we have a program, we chant and they have nice prasadam and everything, that don't just think that this is some nice social club, some spiritual social club, that we just gather together and we feel good, and that, okay, because that borders on what happens unfortunately, in most churches, in most temples. They go there once a week, they give a little hundi, they pat each other on the back, they may even cry or they hug each other, and then they go away and they just do all their nonsense again. Sometimes there's some churches that have accommodated Sunday football watching, and they now don't even have their programs on Sundays, they have it on Saturday evening, so that it doesn't bother your Sunday at all. You can go worship on Saturday, now you don't even have to go to the temple on Sunday. So this is sentimentalism. This is like making a practice something cheap, that Krishna is, he's the owner of everything. He's the most wealthy. He's Bhagavan. He's our loving Father. We shouldn't try to steal some kind of quote-unquote great sentimentally wonderful feeling and just try and take it away and go back to living some other kind of life separate from him. Actual bhakti, actual worship means to give up that life which is keeping me from remembering Krishna or God. Whatever it is that's been in my way, get rid of that. Prabhupada Saraswati, who is a great associate of Lord Chaitanya, Prabhupada refers to this sometimes in his lectures, that he says sometimes you have to flatter people in order to get their attention in our preaching. sometimes it's better that when you're talking to someone, you say, oh, you seem like a very intelligent person, and you're very good looking, and you're very talented, this and that, and I can see by how you talk, you know, that you've educated yourself so nicely, and that's very impressive. And then he says, Prabhupada would say all that, and the person would be going, you know, they'd be saying, yeah, that's me, thank you very much, you know, but then he'd say, so I just have one request. Can you please take all of this, which you know, and throw it away? And then, what? You know, and just please take up this chanting of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And so by that time you've got this person's attention. And it actually works because they're not really expecting that. And then there's some part of them that maybe realizes that, oh yeah, he was just stroking my ego, you know, and I'm kind of embarrassed now, I don't, you know. It's not about stroking each other's egos, and it's not about just trying to make yourself have a better sense enjoyment level. It's actually about finding out about the absolute truth. And Krishna is the source of the absolute truth. And Srila Prabhupada was very frank, actually. You know, he would sit in a room and he would get away with calling everybody, you're all fools and rascals. And so why everybody didn't get up and walk out of the room, I don't know. But because of his purity, they would go, yeah, he's right, you know. I've been a fool and I've been a rascal, so let me listen. But he's a pure devotee, he can get away with that. I think if I just said that a lot, people would just get up and leave. So, but he was very direct, but not out of any kind of pride or false prestige, out of a dire necessity, out of urgency for us to hear this message and not get lost in, you know, lighting some incense or lighting a candle and going, oh, I'm having a spiritual experience, you know. What are we having a spiritual experience for? Prabhupada was always very goal-oriented. Why are you lighting your candle? Why are you doing your puja? Not just do your puja, not just light your candle. Why are you doing it? So that you can remember Krishna. So you can remember your spiritual self. Because that's the only way you're going to be able to get out of this trap. And Prabhupada would definitely remind everybody, whether you think it or not, we're in a trap. We are deeply trapped in this material world. So we make all kind of band-aids for it, and we try to do all kinds of ointments and sometimes intoxication or whatever it takes to make us forget that we're trapped. And you talk to most people, they say, I'm not trapped. I'm totally free, I'm independent, I'm self-sufficient, all these kind of things. Well, what happened if the sun didn't come up in the morning? Or what happened if all of a sudden the rain didn't come and the crops didn't grow? How proud could they be? Krishna is supplying everything to everybody at all times and not trying to take anything for it. He's giving it freely. And that's what he's waiting for us to do. He's given us independence, choice. Choice is independence. We can choose to be here. We did choose to be here. That's why he's made it for us. He says, okay, I don't know why you want to do this, but I'll make this Disneyland for you to go play in, and you can see if it actually works out or not. But I'll also plant little shastras here and there, and I'll always send my representatives in the form of great acharyas, and every once in a while I'll come myself also, to kind of reset, you know, the start button, you know, get the default button going back to the actual truth. And that's what he says to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. He says, I came here, I spoke this to the sun god so long ago, and he spoke it to his son, and he spoke it to Manu, father of mankind, and it's got transferred down through all time. But I could see that the disciplic succession of that transfer got lost somewhere. And that's why I'm here now, speaking this to you. Can someone get the door?